G'day fellas and welcome to the very first casted game of the brand new patch. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got quite the game for you today. Spawning in on the south side of the map in the colour purple, playing as the English Mokomi. And in the north of the map in the colour teal, playing as the Japanese, it's Faye. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. It is a pleasure to have your company. It is time to get into it. So, of course, the brand new patch has hit, and the very first thing on everybody's mind is, are we going to see the things that have been changed? So for the English, there's not too much that we've actually witnessed for them to be changed, other than the slight bug fix to their White Tower as well as their Berkshire. Not really too much. But on the Japanese side, hello, I'm looking at Tatara, their unique melee technology that has got a nice little buff. Only costs 50 gold, 25 stone now, compared to the 75 gold, 25 stone that it used to cost. On top of that, we also see a buff to the town center, in particular to the first level of the mana. That is the Daimyo mana, now only costing 225 rather than costing the full 300. So that is pretty nice as well. We also have seen some big buffs to the Japanese, specifically to the Temple of Equality. Now, they've also been nerfed on the their Yorishiro front, so the floating gate, not as strong as it used to be. So I'm suspecting we're probably going to see players look to move away from the floating gate, maybe do a little bit of testing with the Temple of Equality, and that's what I'm going to be looking forward to this game, to see whether Faye actually opts for that. So we do now start to see Faye about to have enough resources to get that Daimyo mana online. Doesn't really change anything in the early game for her to get this, other than it just gets you out a villager for essentially free. You can see she is going to queue that one up now. Looks like with regard to the timing as well for the stone, you can see she's still got quite a bit of stone to still gather before she hits even anywhere close to that 200 gold. So there is the prospect that she maybe thinks about going into a second TC here. I think that could be a pretty smart move. But on the other side of the map, the age up now comes through about 2 minutes 23 seconds. It, of course, is the Abbey of Kings getting thrown down for Mokomi. The double farm start here as well. Leaving a bit of a space here. I'm suspecting there could be a mill here. That's always one option. The alternative is that instead you just put a farm there. But there's a very particular space that you've left there. So I'm kind of tempted to say it might be a mill that Mokomi ends up putting that down there. But looking forward to seeing how this game unfolds. Let's get to it. If you haven't already, make sure you go grab something to drink. Today, my drink of choice is some juice. I've got some multivitamin juice. So go grab that. Give me a second here. That's good juice. Go grab yourself something to drink, put your feet up, and leave a like on the video. And let's get to it. Have a look at this. Is Faye going for it? I think she might be. Age up is just about ready to go through. She could stop this build, yeah, so you don't want to do that. Timing looks pretty decent here, though. Second TC is going to be on the way for her. She doesn't need to throw down any extra forge to gather gold. She's just done that through the stone outcropping. Very well timed here. Koka Township, of all things, going to be coming down here, which also got buffed recently. I suspect going to be looking to try and counter the enemy Abbey of Kings. So obviously the king going to be coming out and putting on pressure early here. But Faye should now be starting to look to move over onto wood for that second town center. Otherwise, where do you put the second TC? Definitely out here. The alternative is that you wall this off. Probably just even wall it off over across here, and then wall across there. There's always the risk of longbows, but if we ride on board with Faye, you'll see that she does have that scout moving into position, so probably is going to be able to spot out that enemy Abbey of Kings shortly. Just did miss out that one little sheep right there. Let's ride on board with Mokomi now on the defensive. Mokomi going to be going for that second town center as well. So it's going to be double 2 TC play, I suspect. Even though Faye is continuing to increase that... Okay, hold on. Maybe she's not even going for a second TC. Maybe she's just going for the second level, which is kind of wild that you would do that despite not going into the Kura storehouse where you get free farms. Like, the synergy with that is just crazy. But age up now coming through for Mokomi. Look at this timing as well. A little bit late on this town center, but we'll keep an eye out for it. King now in queue, nice and free. And if we do see Faye, she has moved around the enemy base. Age up comes through. Koka Township now. Got to start training up that shinobi for free. Both of these players picking up free shinobi / kings nice little units early on, and it does look like we're going to have ourselves a little bit of the free Tawara going to be coming through here. So the wheelbarrow, and there it is, the Daimyo Palace coming in for 600 stone. So I wonder what the idea behind this is, because to be fair, she doesn't really get much out of this. She gets the free villager, she increases the Bannerman cap by 2. But realistically, there's not much else going on for her. You can see the rate of farm, or the gather rate for farms increases by 50% here, but there are no farms. That's important to remember. There's no farms here, and there's not going to be farms for a while unless you really want to invest into it. She's not going to be going for a second town center either. Mokomi on the other side of the map is going to be going for that second TC, and it comes down on the back here. We can see it right on top of the gold, which guarantees that that gold is going to be safe. There's a good chance here that Mokomi just gets up to Castle Age with absolutely no hindrance whatsoever. Bit of a curious ville. What's this ville all about? Maybe a wall? Yeah, it's going to be a wall coming up here. Throws down the palisade gate as well. Really nice positioning here. I'm not sure exactly what the king has seen and whether the king has spotted out that there is on the other side of this map a shinobi. The shinobi can always jump over the wall, but I guess the reality is if he jumps over, then there's no going back. The town center will, or at least it should provide decent cover. There's maybe a little spot here where the town center won't be able to cover. But at this stage, it's always just going to be about adding in those farms. I'm curious to see how many Mokomi goes into. Normally, you'd expect it to be about the 14, 16 farm region. You can always go a little bit lower than that as well, around the 12, depending on how many sheep you get. And look, when you get 10 sheep like this, that's you can definitely afford to go on the lower side of those farms. But now, King comes through, does a little bit of damage. Vils moves straight back onto the berries immediately. And what's going on here? Faye just turning around saying, come on, let's fight. We also see that Uma Bannerman is going to be coming out there. So keep in mind that Uma Bannerman could have technically been made with just the one level of Daimyo mana. You don't need to go into the second level. Of course, you do now have the ability to train more than one though. So if we start to see maybe 2, maybe 3 coming out from Faye, then definitely I can see where she's going with this whole mindset. But we do now have that wall coming up. I love how both of these players have got gold on the backside with an outpost, with a wood line here. This is really nice. I wish all of the maps spawned like this. They've kind of spawned almost exactly mirrored. The only difference is you've got food here, stone at the back, whereas stone is on the front, and food is also on the front here for our English player. So that's the only real difference between them. Other than that, it looks pretty nice, and I think that's definitely that is definitely the way it should be. There's the second Uma Bannerman coming out now. So Faye on the Japanese here, looking to almost play a pseudo-French style, getting out these early knight-esque units. The Uma Bannerman, of course, for anyone who doesn't know, also gets that wonderful deflective armor. That's what I was thinking of, the wonderful deflective armor. We also see some upgrades coming through. So Tatara's been picked up. Tatara's been picked up. Hizukari is now going to be coming through, which is level 2. She can technically go up to level 2 in the feudal age and then level 3 in the castle age. But continuing to put on pressure here. Keep in mind, against the English, not a whole lot is going to be happening here. Like, realistically, you've got the racks out. You're starting to make some spears for the defensive. Look at the resources, by the way. Mokomi is almost wealthy enough to go into the castle age already. Off 2 TCs, keep that in mind. Shinobi comes through, immediately goes down. She does get the sabotage off. So it does mean this is technically like killing a villager. In fact, you could technically say it's like killing 1.5 villagers by getting this off. Because you've now delayed the enemy's town center from training a villager, or at least from 1.5 villagers, so 30 seconds. So it's not a villager kill, but it is a villager, like you're preventing the villager from being trained. So I like this a lot. Makes a lot of sense here. Let's check in on that other side of the map as Mokomi now being chased around. Ayyubids will be coming through shortly for both of these players. In fact, we do see 12 vils on gold for Faye. So that, to me, definitely suggests that she is going to be looking for that castle age. The big question on my mind, and I'm sure everybody else's mind, will we see the Temple of Equality today, or is it just going to be your standard floating gate? Meanwhile, towards the north of the map, beautiful little outpost she's got up here, berries together with the deer. Very comfy position. Triple Uma Bannerman coming out. This is the new Japanese. The new Japanese has well and truly arrived. Spear's going to be coming out. Got to be careful with them as they Uma Bannerman do the right thing. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, you can You can see it on the UI. Oh, does she spot it? She spots it. This could be terrible. The White Tower, there's plenty of spears here. The scout will go down. Beneman should be able to take this out as long as they're able to focus down the spears in the correct position, in the correct way. More spears coming out to join the fray. Looks like one of the Beneman will go down. Two more surround, looking to try and put pressure on towards the clowns on the front, but unfortunately, Makomi reaches the castle age, and with that, buys himself enough time. Oh my lord, look at the damage from that White Tower, just absolutely wrecking havoc on that Beneman. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the very first, but undoubtedly not the last time, this patch. It is the Temple of Equality. We gotta get a nice picture for this one. It's time. It is happening. This one's going on the cover. Get ready. You're about to be able, you can point to it and be like, oh, that's the front cover. I saw that on the front. That's the thumbnail. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Indeed, Yokis Yagario. I totally butchered that. All right, let's get it back in there. Temple of Equality is online. So where does Faye go from here? Because I am quite an expert when it comes to the Temple of Equality. I'm quite an expert myself, actually. When it comes to the Temple of Equality, I've used this many a time in FFA, and it's probably quite well buffed over there, in fact. So now, with the Temple of Equality, your monks cost less. They don't cost 100 gold, they only cost 70, or sorry, they only cost 80 gold. So nice little reduction. You've also now got access to Zen. And they've also reduced the cost of Zen down. So it used to be 200 food, 300 wood. Now it's 100 food, 200 wood. So a nice little reduction there. And what that's going to do is that's going to generate 25 gold every 60 seconds for each of your monks. So the general idea is that you probably want to play 1, maybe 2 TCs if you're playing FFA. And from there, what you want to do is look to make lots and lots of Buddhist monks. That's the idea. And by making them, you're making a military unit, technically, but also an economic unit, because it's economic in that it can pick up relics. It also generates passive gold, 25 every 60 seconds. But it's also it's a military unit in the sense that it can hurt the enemy. So if we take a look here at Sohei Sutra, it reduces enemy damage by 50% for 60 seconds. So if you cast that on an enemy spearman, that spearman is doing significantly less damage. Now, unfortunately, I don't think it actually affects the enemy bonus damage. So the spear will go from 8 damage to 4 damage, but they still get plus 20 versus cavalry. I'll have to double check that. They may have changed it, but from recollection, that's the way it used to work. I don't know if that's the way it still works. Because that's definitely one of the big hassles with playing with it, because it feels like, you know, or it looks like, oh, it's amazing, but the reality is it doesn't actually do that much. You know, it does well against things like lancers and knights, things that have got high base damage and no modifiers. But now moving down towards the south side, spear crossbow going to be coming out here for Makomi, moving into that famous combination. Beneman, going to be careful not to be caught. Scout does come out. Faye's going to spot it here. Falling back away from the crossbows. Definitely the right call as the mounted samurai look to join the battle as well. Towards the top side. Second relic now getting picked up here for Faye. Third relic on the way back in for her as well. Fourth relic moving out towards... Hold on. That is probably not the right call here, Faye. Very bold. Did you see that? Comes out. Cast the Sohei's Sutra. There you go. Manages to get it off. There we go. King's got a little bit of a debuff there. Minus 6 damage. I don't know what it was before, but I can tell you right now it's definitely hurting. And there's a second cast. Did you see how quickly that got... Oh, no, it is. It's only 12 damage. So you can see... never mind. Okay, they did fix it up. So it's only 12 extra damage against spears. Dude, that's actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie right now. I think this landmark has potential. I think if you're going to play it, you probably just want to play 1 TC. I don't think you want to play 2 TC. 1 TC, open up with it, and then I guess you just play defensive and kind of wait for the monks to kick in. But even then, I don't know, man. Maybe you can get aggressive. I think there's definitely a world where you can use the mounted samurai together with the monk. That's probably the best bet, because that way you're reducing the damage of spearmen, of crossbow, all that good stuff. But at the same time, you can also heal them up. Heal up your mounted samurai. They've got quite a good health pool as well, because you can indeed heal with your monks. Keep that in mind. So we'll have to see exactly how Faye looks to play this. She's down 20 villagers at the moment. Got to be careful moving into the stealth forest like that. Still not really happy with the numbers, as Makomi is looking good on the offensive here. All of the what are they called? The monks, the Buddhist monks, apologies, turn around to hit that one king. Managed to cop a little bit of damage. Keep in mind, you do have healing on all of these bad boys right here. More mounted samurai now joining in. You want to try and build up this mass, though. I definitely don't think you want to stop here. You want to just keep pumping. You want to have quite a few of these guys in queue. 3 relics to 2 relics is the final scorecard on the relic front. And now, back towards base. I want to see how well Faye can micro this out, because if you can knock a lot of these spears out and reduce their damage, you can see right here as she's casting it on the edge, it looks like it only is hitting one at a time. So this is, yeah, I think you might actually have to micromanage these down individually. The range on it's quite significant, but it does have a little bit of time. Heal's going to come through now. Okay, hold on a second. The healing comes out. Look at this. This is actually a little bit oppressive. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, a town center from Faye coming in. I don't like this. I don't like this. I feel like you 100% want to play into the Buddhist monks. They're not as good as villagers. Oh, no. She's been caught out of position. One mounted samurai going to be going down. Second one going to cop quite a bit of damage there as well. Town center in the middle of the map also under attack. We can see the Sahei Sutra being put out here. Mounted samurai, micro is decent. On the backside, healing coming through. Looking to put on more pressure towards the front. Mounted samurai together with the Uma Beneman, looking like it might have a bit of a cleanup in here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. There is a new landmark in town. The Temple of Equality. It is now nowhere to be found except for in every Japanese player's back pocket. That is for sure. Look at that cleanup. It was just a slow and steady case of just adding in more of the Sahei Sutra slowly and steadily over the course of that fight, together with that initial little cap. But look at this. Makomi could be in trouble. This is a nice mass that is starting to build here for Faye. Really decent. Meanwhile, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. All of those villagers that had built the town center, it was like, what, 12 villas? Have gone down. Look at this. 40 villas against 78. Spring on emplacement is in, but it just feels terrible. You know, what was wrong with here? Why we got to go for here? I know why we're going for here, because we want to get the Daimyo Manor, the Daimyo Palace. We want to do that and be cool and have our Daimyo in the middle, and it's going to be our pseudo keep. But at the end of the day, man, God, feels bad. It really, really feels bad. Meanwhile, continuing to push forward, need to be very careful in this situation. So I'm almost tempted to say that, like, I think you want to be control grouping your Buddhist monks here. Like, you want to be controlling everything else with just, like, your mouse click. And then, like, this is control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's how you play the Japanese, right? Like, and then you just 1, 2, 3, 4 on each different unit. That's how you used to have to play Age of Empires 3. I remember playing big team games, and I'd be going skirmishes, and I'd have 40 skirmishes, and I would have 8 control groups of 5 skirmishes each, because that's how many you needed to kill enemy musketeers. And, you know, that was my job, to kill the musketeers. So I'd just be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. And after each of those numbers, you're clicking individual units. So it's definitely possible. The question's going to be about whether it actually gets done, though, and whether it's efficient to be doing. Numbers continuing to build here for Faye. Definitely has my eye at the moment with this. How's she doing on numbers? Up to 12 Buddhist monks now. Vil's going to start moving out. I fear she may have lost quite a few Vils back there, and indeed she did, losing out 16 Vils. But the second TC is definitely going to help her. Also with the Temple of Equality, that allows you to essentially create villages here. Not 100%. Because it's 25 gold a minute compared to a Vil, which at this stage of the game is probably going to be gathering about 50 gold a minute. Because you've got your wheelbarrow upgrade, you probably got specialized pick. Never mind, you don't have specialized pick. You're doing about 40 a minute. But it's still kind of close, and it's 1 every 30 seconds rather than 1 every 20 seconds. So it's still not 100% of the way. Men-at-Arms now going to come in. Outpost as well for Makomi on this edge. We can see Knights also going to be thrown down across this side as Vils fall back away from this position. No walls coming in to help defend. Looks like a couple mounted samurai might be heading back just to prepare a defense. Second units coming through now. Knights on the bottom side. Specialized pick already through acid distillation. Now coming through for Faye. 53 Vils against 90. It definitely doesn't look that good for Faye. Let's check the Vil count, or rather the income count. Looks like we're sitting at about, so 600, so about 1,200, maybe 1,300, 2,400, 2,800 at the moment for Faye against Makomi, who's at 2,600, 3,400. Yeah, it's not looking good. 4K. So Makomi with quite a significant advantage when it comes to that that income at the moment. Definitely significantly in favor of him. Vils getting taken out once again by the knights, but Mounted Samurai will come through here. Ville's going to turn around and bring their... Actually, they're just going to bring out their building hammers as the third town center is coming through here. Bit of a counter raid, Mounted Samurai on the south side, but big walls coming in for Makomi as well. Now, second TC is up for Makomi since the start of the game. No third TC just yet. We do hear a little bit of deleting happening behind the scenes, maybe some walls or something. Big numbers starting to look really good here. Have a look at this, 16 of the Buddhist monks out. So I think the biggest issue you're going to have with Buddhist monks, as unfortunately a couple of these Mounted Samurai go down, is I think they're stacking up their Sohei's Sutra. So they're not focusing different units. So there needs to be some sort of AI in the unit that actually says, okay, this unit's currently being targeted by another Buddhist monk with Sohei Sutra, so I'm not going to target that unit with my own Sohei Sutra. And it needs to run that check every single time it does it. Because if it doesn't do that, they all end up targeting the exact same unit, which is normally the closest unit. You can see all of them targeting right there. They've done it, but it only works on a couple of them. So it's very much something that you have to actively micromanage, or maybe you just want to kind of split them up so they're all kind of separated out from each other. Third TC about to be going down here for Faye. Top cap reach for Moki. Oh my god, Makomi's at 200. Faye at 110. She's going to try and defend here as she is being absolutely surrounded from the south, from the west, and from the east as well. We've got the Sohei Sutra coming out. Nice little heal as well. Numbers not looking terrible for her on the defense. A couple of Honor Bageisha joining in. Mounted Samurai looking to defend on this top side as a single knight runs through, just cleaning up Vills once again. Meanwhile, on that front, have a look at this. The numbers still holding on for Faye. I think it's going to be the heals that are really doing it. You don't appreciate how much healing is being done in these fights and just how strong these guys are standing at the back, just healing everything. Look at that. Look at that. She's doing it. She's doing it despite the economic difference between the two. She's managing to pull out a huge upset in this game right now. I did not expect this much of a difference between these two. I was expecting it was going to be a stomp. You had Makomi, who was maxed out 200 against Faye, who was sitting at 110. Look at every single one of these crossbows with the reduced damage. 7 damage with +4 against heavy. That's 11 damage. These units have got 6 armor. You're doing 5 damage a pop on a good day, my friend. That is why this has got the potential to go all the way. I feel like there may have been a few other mistakes that lead to an inevitable and eventual loss today, as we do see, even though she manages to hold on right now, you and I both know Makomi has got an absolute powerhouse of an economy on that other side of the map. And it's not so much that it is a powerhouse for Makomi, it's rather that on the other side of the map, unfortunately for Faye, things aren't going well. Things are not going well. Only 7 of these Buddhist monks remain, which means that not a lot of gold is being generated by them, unfortunately. And slowly but steadily, the grind continues. But I can't help but feel as we fall closer and closer towards Makomi's base, things are going to get worse and worse for Faye. The economy is the big issue, right? As is often with many situations, it's the economy. The economy. Sorry. that was my unprepared attempt. But, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 town centers for Faye. So when she lost that earlier town center, she was only losing 1 of 5. It's not over just yet. Okay, if Faye holds on, and if Faye defends, there is a world where this doesn't go sour for her. I think when it comes to playing with the Buddhist monks, what you want is definitely mounted samurai. And I think what you want to be doing is you put the Buddhist monks in a line formation so they're wide. You don't want to stack them up. And I think you want to kind of treat them like archers. And so you basically, you send your mounted samurai in, you let all of the monks get their cast off, and then you pull the mounted samurais back, you pull the monks back, then you let them get their next cast off. Right? Like, you keep kind of like kiting and microing it until you've got Sohei Sutra on everybody. then that is where when you strike. I think that's how it needs to be done. And you got to remember, people are playing with the Japanese for a long time now. This expansion has been out for quite some time, but they have not been playing with the Temple of Equality for long at all. It has been Yoroshiro's for the last 10 months, that is for certain. But now, what could be the last fight? Keep in mind, none of these units on the back line have got that Sahei Sutra except for a single crossbowman. Everybody else is doing full damage back here, actually able to snipe out a lot of these units. You can see that they've still got that auto repair on rather than casting, so it might almost be tempting to turn off that automatic healing. Wait, I just realized, is it something that you have to automatically cast? Or do you have... you have to cast it yourself? I'm going to have to check this right now. Wait, do I have to individually click with every single one of them? Surely not. Surely not. Unfortunately, Makomi is looking to outweigh Faye at the 25th minute into this game. The men-at-arm numbers are starting to look good. Crossbow numbers on the back. A valiant effort by Faye today, but I fear the numbers are still looking too strong. I think it's just a combat, or yeah, okay, never mind. I was going to say you probably just need to add in battering rams at this point and you'll be able to force Faye to tap out. Anyway, we're going to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. That is the very first game of the brand new patch. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you go and leave a like on the video, but importantly, go check out Faye. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch her live, and of course, we'll catch you guys in the next one.